If you have ever wanted to showcase your clients in a dynamic automated directory, then this video is for you. Today, I'm breaking down how to build a client directory using Airtable and an optional way to use Softr to brand it a little more so that your client wins can be displayed effortlessly. So you can use this for client results profiles, internal client directories, anything that you want to do to display your clients. This is the video for you. I'm going to be using Jamar Diggs' YouTube membership directory as an example to show you how to create an amazing directory that automatically updates itself with no manual work. So if you've ever wanted to feature clients publicly or track them internally, then this setup is going to be a total game changer, and I can't wait to see how you use this in your own coaching business. And if you want to skip the setup hassle, I really recommend getting my Client Hub template. This makes this process super plug and play. It is an Airtable template. You can grab it in the description and start tracking your clients all inside of Airtable. And if you're looking for even more automation tips or you just want to see more of what Airtable can do, go ahead and watch my free masterclass on why Airtable is the ultimate tool for organizing your coaching business. If you are a coach, agency owner, or service provider, you absolutely must be using Airtable to manage your clients. And my free masterclass will show you why and give you way more screenshots and all of the screen sharing. So this is just showing you how to make that really cool client directory. There's a link below for the masterclass, for the Client Hub, for all of my different things. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, I'm going to give you a preview of what we're going to be building in this video. So this is an example of an amazing directory that you can build using Airtable and Softr. So this is my client, Jamar Diggs. I am also a client of his. He has an amazing YouTube membership, which you are watching this video on YouTube, mostly because of him and his strategies. So you'll see that he has Low Lift Club approved channels. So this is an amazing page on his website where his leads can scroll down and see all of the Low Lift Club approved channels that have come through the membership. His result in his program is he helps people launch YouTube channels, and we can see the results here. Here are all of these channels that he has helped launch. Now, a lot of times when people have things like this, like they have to manually update this on the page and then they're just like really backlogged and behind. But because this is built with Airtable and Softr, this is pretty much able to be updated automatically. So when a client says that they've launched a channel, they can fill out a form in Airtable and he can approve it, and it can show up right away on this Low Lift Club approved directory. So you can use this for any type of directory that you want to do to showcase your clients. You could do a forward-facing one like Jamar has for his leads to see all of the amazing channels to really show that his membership actually gets the result and all of these people launch their channels. You could also do it internally. So you could do a student directory. You can really decide how you want to use this, but in this, we're just basically going to rebuild what Jamar has here so you can see it and you can see how beautiful this is. So you have, there's me, the days it took to launch the channel, 29. I'll teach you how to automatically do that. You can see that there's a little tags, there's the offer, and if you click go to channel, it goes right to that person's channel. So that's really cool as well. Really anything that you want to see inside of your directories, you can start by tracking that data in Airtable and then use Softr to visualize it. So that's what we're diving into today. So in order to have all of this amazing data automatically being able to update in a directory style, you need to start with the base in Airtable. There's a link in the description to get my Client Hub. I really recommend just buying this so you're not creating this from scratch, but I do want to show you how it all works. And if you're super DIY, maybe you can figure out just from the video, but you're going to save yourself so much time by just literally getting the template and setting it up yourself. But the big thing that you need, and what I recommend for everybody, if you're brand new to me, if you're brand new to Airtable, what your Client Hub does is it houses every moving piece of your client and their relationship with your offer. So for Jamar, it's his membership. For me, it's my 12-month group program. For you, it could be your one-on-one services, whatever. You have a primary client record that has all of these moving pieces. So it's their first name, last name, email, status. It has their start date. And then any results tracker forms that they fill out, everything is linked to their primary client record. So you need a table inside of Airtable that is your primary client record. The reason why I'm saying this is because you're going to need that start date so then we can be able to track and see basically what is the time between them joining and launching the channel. We have to pull that start date from their primary client record. So that's the first thing that you need is you need a primary client record that has their first name, last name, their email, their status, and their start date. That's bare minimum what you need. And now we can actually build the results tracker that we want to set up. So next up is you want to make sure that you have a results tracking form in your offer. If it's a one-on-one offer, you might be filling this out yourself, but if it's a group program or a membership, then your clients can totally fill this out themselves. So what I would do if I was Jamar is I would create this form, which I'm going to create from scratch here, that once somebody launches their channel, they submit a form, and then that unlocks like different exciting things for them. Maybe it's a bonus, maybe it's a free training, maybe it's a personalized review. We want to incentivize people to be able to fill out this form so they actually want to fill it out. Of course, being featured on his directory, that's an amazing bonus. So actually having this incentivizes your people to fill this out because they want to be included on the list. But you can also add more things. And that's something that I help my clients with our consulting, is we really want to make sure that you incentivize people to fill out the form. The form is super easy to fill out. It's simple, all of those things. So what we're going to do is build that form. So I'm just going to have this kind of side by side so you can see. I'm going to add a table in my client hub, and I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to call it U channel launch form. And I'm just going to add in fields that I know I want to show on my directory. So when you're creating your form, think about what you want to showcase on the directory, and that will be super helpful for you. So of course you want them to know, you want to know their name, and they're just going to select it from the primary client record. And I'm actually going to build this in a form. So if you go to forms up here, you click form, we are going to create a YouTube channel launch form. And we can build that right here. So I am going to add this. It would be like select your name from the dropdown. And then we see, okay, the next thing we have is YouTube channel name. So I'm going to add a field. YouTube channel name. I'm going to say YouTube channel description. That's going to be better as a long text field. So what's cool about Airtable is that you get to pick the right fields for the job, YouTube channel description. And you'll see here days it took to launch channel. That's going to be a really cool formula field we're going to build. So we're not asking them, how long did it take you to launch your channel? Because we already know their start date. So what we're going to ask here instead is we're going to add a date field. What date did you launch your channel? This will be really cool to see in a second. So we've got that. What date did you launch your channel? We've got industry as something. So let's do a multi-select industry. And let's add in systems and operations. Business consulting. You could always add an other field if you like. I'll add web design. Beautiful. So we're going to do that. And he also has offers show up. So let's add that. Offers. Private coaching. Done for you services. Digital products and courses. So really think about when you have people looking at your directory, what is going to be interesting for them to maybe want to sort by or filter by. Maybe his leads want to see, well, does YouTube work for me as a private coach that does consulting? You can show that so people can filter it down. So that's really cool. We want to have a channel link. So we're going to say URL, channel link. Okay. Good. You'll see we have an attachment here. We're going to have an attachment for channel screenshot. And let me see if there's anything else I want to put on here. How did the low lift club help you? We can add that. That's cool to kind of add in, especially if you're doing it more of a case study. What are wins and something you learned? So you want to build this form to be as simple as possible for your clients to fill out. So pick and choose what you really want to put in here and make the form super easy. So the channel name, obviously if they have the channel name, we're going to probably put the channel link by there. So really build this form as you see fit. Then you can publish this form and have your clients fill it out. Once your clients start filling it out and we have the data inside of there, then that's when we can do really cool things with the visual directory. So I'm going to fill this form out like I was a student. So I'm going to add my name here. I'm going to say, okay, cool. This is my channel name. Again, this would be whatever you want to showcase in your directory. So maybe you're asking them Instagram handle, whatever you're asking. But this one was specifically for YouTube channels. What date did you launch your channels? I'm going to say I launched it February 7th. My industry is systems and operations and business consulting. I do private coaching and I do done for you. Let me take a little screenshot because that's what he's asking of me. So we've got that. So they can upload their everything here. I couldn't have done this without the Low Lift Club. My biggest win was going live every day for 5 days straight. Cool. So as the client, your client will fill this out and they will submit it. Now, we aren't going to cover it in this video, but if you are interested in this, then there's so much you can do next. So for example, you can have automations that say, when a client fills out a form, and again, we're just doing this right inside of Airtable, no Zapier needed, just like it's all internal right inside of Airtable. You can have an automation, and I'm not going to build this, but I just want to show you what you can do is you can say when a form is submitted, so in the YouTube channel form, you can send an email to the client and you can say, hey, Ashley, oh my gosh, you just launched your channel. I'm so proud of you. You are amazing. I'm about to review your directory profile. It'll be live in the next 3 days. Like whatever the next steps are, sending them an email automatically and also sending you an email or a Slack message to say, hey, there's a new directory member to approve. You can do all of that right inside of Airtable. We're not going to cover that part in this video, but if that's interesting for you, definitely let me know in the comments and it's a video that I'll make. But that's really cool stuff that you can do. But right now we're just focusing on the forward-facing directory. So you'll see that we just filled out that form and that form is now inside of our Airtable data. So we have the YouTube channel name that I just filled out, the primary client record, the channel description, what date did you launch your channel? That's great. I'm just going to clean. So I always recommend your first field. It's called your primary field. This is meant to be like a summary of that table's data for that record. I'm just going to put the primary client record for now. So it's just a formula with the primary client record name there. It just gives us something there. So you'll see here's all the details. Beautiful. So this data is what Softr is going to pull from to make that directory. So you can see we're getting somewhere, right? We've got these industry tags, the offer tag. So you saw that in Jamar's directory here. So all of the data that you want to be visible inside of your directory needs to be inside of Airtable. Now, some of those things can be automatically populated. Like I said, we don't need to ask them how many days it took them to launch the channel. Something we can do is we're going to look up, this is getting into some Airtable cool intermediate stuff, but if you're on my channel, I'm not gatekeeping anything. So I'm going to look up their start date. So you'll see now we have the Ashley 1 test start date and what date did she launch her channel. And just for the data purposes, I'm going to say that she actually launched it March 14th. So you can leave her start date and the date that she launched her channel. Then we will have a formula field that says days it took to launch channel. And that's going to be a formula field. And that's a little formula field we like to call date time diff. So that's going to be, I believe, what date did you launch your channel? The difference between that and the start date. And we want to count it in days. Fantastic. So now we see it took Ashley 13 days to launch her channel. Now this gets to be really cool when you have a bunch of people launching their channels and like a bunch of data. Because let's say Ashley 3, she started October 2024. She also launched March 14th because you did a challenge. Everybody launched on the 14th. It took Ashley 3 153 days. We can now see the average it takes someone to launch a channel is 83 days. So the shortest is 13, the longest is 153, the average is 83 days. That is really cool to see. So again, we want to make sure that all the data you want to be visualized in your directory is visible inside of Airtable before we move into Softr. Okay, and I know I just mentioned that we will build it in Softr. I will show you what that looks like, but actually Airtable interfaces have come such a long way that you can actually build this right inside of Airtable. It's not going to be as like pretty as Jamar's, but you can totally do it this way. This is especially if you're like doing more internal stuff, you can totally use this. But we are going to go to interfaces, and what we're going to do is I'm going to add a whole new interface, and we're going to call it forward-facing directory. Okay. And what we're going to do is do a gallery, and we're going to pick
ones from YouTube channel launch form. And you'll start to see where we're going with this. So you basically get to create a beautiful directory based on what you need. So you'll see if you click here, you can click the fields that you want to be visible. So we want to have the channel screenshot, like the days it took to launch the channel, there, industry, offers. That looks good to me. And you can see, like, I want to fit the image size. I want to display the field names. See, you can see it's like it's not as cute, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And it's also free and it's included in Airtable, so that's nice. Let's say we want the title field to not be the name. We want it to be the YouTube channel name. So we've got that there. Beautiful. And then let's see. So you see how Jamar's over here had, like, you were able to, like, kind of click in and see more details? You can actually do that with Airtable as well. So again, you can see it's not as aesthetic as Jamar's, but this is just using Airtable and not Softr 2. So you can see I'm going to open this up and I want to allow. And now we're making like a little page. So same thing. Let's have this source name. We're going to call it this. Days it took to launch channel 13. Industry, channel, channel screenshot. I don't really think we need that there. Boom, boom, boom. Channel description. So you can adjust this as you see fit. Channel link is there. You can actually, if you want to, you can create a button. So we're going to say button. Go to channel. And there's a button option. And the URL that we want is channel. So you can adjust this as you see fit. And then you can like add a little group and says like nice words about low lift club, whatever you want, because we had those questions, right? How did it help you? What are your wins? So you can do that.
So you could totally set this up in a sitting, especially if you use my Client Hub template when you already have that primary client record. And then we have all this as like plug and play, but you can totally set this up pretty straightforward. So I just wanted to show you then what it looks like to embed. So let me just make sure everything looks good. If there's any last minute things I want to add, let's see, you can add buttons, which is kind of cool. So you could say, because if this was forward facing, you could have a go to website and say, let's say this was like, join the low lift club. You could have that there. You get to pick the color. So that could work. So we've got that. You can let the end user choose how you want to, like how they want to view this. So you can let it have them be able to sort or filter or search or anything like that. I personally would keep the search on there. I think that's totally fine. With the buttons as well, you can add one here. So we can do the same thing. Join the low lift club. Fantastic. Cool. So if you click publish here, then I can show you what it's going to look like to embed this Airtable directory onto your website. So you want to click publish there. And that will be the most up to date. And then you can go back to edit and we'll go to share. Now you want to click share publicly. And you can have this actually just be a link that you could share. So if you just want it to be a link that people could look at, you could totally do it this way. This might be good if, let's say, it's like a directory inside of your course and you just want people to view it from a link, then that's great. Most of you will probably embed it, and you can actually embed these into your course platform if it lets you do code embed, which is really cool. So that's the share publicly link you can do there. But then there is this embed option. So you're going to grab embed. There it is. Copy embed code. Go to your page in your page builder on your website. And in here, embed code. So I'm just going to make this big. Show it is always a little interesting. And the one thing to note here is just that they see how this is forward-facing directory, YouTube channel launch form. So that is the title of the directory, like the interface page. So if you want that to look a little different, then you can totally update that. So maybe not have it called forward-facing directory, but this is just an example. So I'm going to hit publish here. And if I go ahead and preview this, if I was to preview this, then you can see what it looks like. Again, it has Airtable logo, so not as nice as the one that we would build in Softr, which I will show you in this video, but it's still cool to see. So you can pop this open. You can see all of the details. So really cool, really simple. I really recommend if like you want something like this, you want a directory, do it this way first. Get the quick and dirty up. Make sure you have your Airtable base with the primary client record, then have a form that your clients can fill out, and then have a directory that people can use. So we've got that here. Like I said, they can filter. What's nice about Airtable is that they can filter down, but they can't filter up. So what that means to me is that like they can't filter by fields that aren't visible here or in the other view. So if they want to see, I want to see only where industry is business and consulting, then it could filter for them. So really cool to see. Or if they just want to see, I want to see ones where it's like systems over stress. Of course, those are the only two options available right now, but you'll see that there. And you can see here that says print all records. I don't want it to say that. So there's just so many different options that you can have here. Let's see. I'm pretty sure allow users to print. No, thank you. I'm going to turn that off. So you can play around with what you want this to look like. And you can also create tabs. So you could say launched within 90 days, for example. I don't know why you would do that, but just as an example. Days it took to launch your channel is less than or equal to 90. So we have that, and then we have all channels. So if we hit publish here, what's cool about this is because it's an embed code, it's going to update. So now you see there's not an ability to print, and then you can see who's launched within 90 days, all your records. So that's really cool if you want to create different tabs to self-filter. So again, think about how you could use this, not just for a directory with YouTube channels, because that doesn't apply to a lot of us, but how many ways that you can use this. And go ahead and drop in the comments how you're planning on using this feature in your own coaching offers. So like I said, I really recommend doing it this way if you want to do the quick and dirty option. But now I'm going to show you what it looks like to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so if you want something more aesthetically pleasing, you can try Softr. So Softr is basically how we got Jamar's to look so pretty. You can do a lot of custom colors. And so if it's doing something forward-facing, you might want to do it this way. Checking the pricing on Softr, you do have to pay for this. You can use Softr for so many things. So if you do end up paying for it, then you can definitely use it for more things. But you will need to be able to embed in this. So you do need at least the $49 a month plan. So if you're like, that is cost prohibitive, just stop here, go back, use the Airtable interfaces to be able to embed those for free. And just know aesthetically, it will look a little different. But if you already use Softr, if you're really excited about this, then I'll show you how to use that. So I'm going to sign in. It's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of nice to know how to use it. So I would just create a new start from scratch. You connect your Airtable account. So you pick the Airtable base that your data is in, and you'll connect that. So here's mine. And I'm just going to pick the table here. And it's going to create an app, just kind of like a placeholder, but we will be walking you through how to update this custom. So I would ignore all of this and just go to pages, and we're just going to add a page, and the page is going to be called directory. Save. And we're going to add a block. So Softr works on blocks. So what we want is a dynamic grid. And there's a bunch of different options. So you really get to pick. I will probably use buttons because I know I want to use buttons. See, we're getting somewhere. Looks good. So pick this. And then you get to pick your source. So we have the base is the client hub, and then the source is our YouTube channel launch form. And then you get to pick the view. Now, this isn't something that we did before, but it's something that you could absolutely do. So let me go into our channel launch form. And I'm going to have this one called internal status. And I'm going to have this called show in directory. So basically you can review the profiles that get added. So if we have a view called show in directory, and we filter it where the internal status is show in directory, then it's only going to show the people that have been approved. So that's really nice to do. So what I'm going to do is refresh this because we just made a new view, show in directory. And now it should just have the one pop up. Yep, that looks good. So that's our source. So you want to make sure the source is connected to the right source. And then we've got content. So you'll see here, it's pretty straightforward. You can add a title and subtitle. So you can say Hello Lift Club Directory. You can adjust this as you see fit. And then we've got our item field. So there's the cover media. So if I click this open, basically there's the media type and then it maps to. So the map to is the field that's inside of Airtable. So we want that channel screenshot. And we're going to show that. Looks good. And then cover media tags. I think that's a little busy. Like you see the tags kind of pull up there. So I'm going to keep that hidden. And this H3 heading looks good, but I want that to be the channel name. YouTube channel name. Beautiful. The channel description, good. Let me add in a cute little industry one. The label can be industry. And then you can see here, this is where we get into some of the colors, the tags. So I want to do as defined in there. That looks good. So you can just really play around with this. So you can go into styles. This is where like a lot of the aesthetic and the reason like you would go into Softr is you can really play around with this. So let's say we wanted that to be black. We've got here these item buttons. So you can open it and you can open a details page. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then maybe we want to say go to channel. And you get to pick the type of action. So that would just be open URL. And that would be their channel link. Go to channel. Good. Learn more. So you would open a details page and we're going to click create a details page. And that's kind of very similar to what we did with the Airtable one. You can see it, then it like has a details page where you could change this as you see fit. So we go into content again. We have the name. We're going to have that again be called channel name. And then here's all these other different content options. So basically, how did the low lift hub help you? Don't like that. Cool. So there's all this like text. So I'm going to say map to how did the low lift hub help you? So play around with this. I like to do stacked personally. You can delete everything that's not relevant. Go to actions. Same, like we don't want this to be an edit record. That doesn't make sense for what we're building, but you can do those types of things. But we could say open URL, same thing, channel. Go to channel. Looks good. So you basically have 2 pages inside of Softr. So you have the actual directory, and then you have the learn more itself. So if you click preview here, you can see that, learn more. It can pop open to a different page, which is what I just did. Or you can have it go into content. And when you go to actions, the learn more button, you can have it where it says open in same tab. If you do that modal, then that kind of does that pop up that you'll see. So I personally like to do that. And we don't want people to be able to like add a record. So we're going to delete that. So you really just build it like you want it. It's really straightforward and there's so much Softr can do. It can get really overwhelming, but just know all you're doing is you're building a list grid view with a dynamic block. We love the search, so we want to keep the search. We don't really want to like have people search by like selecting by the primary client record, so you can remove that. But you can see it's really, really robust. Like whatever you want, like you want people to see, they'll be able to see that there. Styles, let's see, we want card, button. There's a lot of hidden things. So we've got the button here. Let's change the button color to red. So looking a little cuter. Okay, cool. So you get that to where you want it to look. The pop-up, go to channel, and it would adjust and do all of that there. So if you click publish, do that. So when it looks good and you like what it looks like, you will have to upgrade to the basic planner above. We actually don't currently use Softr anymore in this way, so we're not on the plan. Again, we just kind of use Airtable now. But if you like the way that Jamar's looked and you want that aesthetic, then all you have to do is upgrade and you get that code just like you did with Airtable, and then you can embed it in. So that's a really quick tutorial. If you have any questions about Softr, let me know, and I'm happy to do a further training on it. We like it. We were happy with it totally. We just don't use it as much anymore to make it like worth that $50 a month. But if you like it, or if you already use it, then this is a really cool way to use it. So like I said, it's all comes from Airtable first. So you have to make sure that the Airtable data is actually in there, and then it becomes really easy to make those aesthetic things inside of Softr or inside of your Airtable interface that you can embed inside of your sales pages, your course programs, all of those. So now that you know how to build a dynamic client directory, I would love to know how you plan on using this in your business. Please drop a comment below and let me know how you're planning on incorporating this into your business. So like I said, whether you're a coach, service provider, agency owner, there's so many different ways that you can use this cool client directory. Whether that's internal, whether that's external. I can't wait to see your ideas. And if you found this helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe for more Airtable tips and tricks and tutorials. And if you want to go deeper, check out the next video on your screen, check out the masterclass below, check out my Client Hub template. There are so many more resources. We're just getting started. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and we'll see you soon.